Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of NASCAR's Lost Teams, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. NASCAR Cup Series champion Dale Earnhardt founded Dale Earnhardt Incorporated in 1984, making their debut at Charlotte in the spring in the Xfinity Series, with Earnhardt driving a number 8 Wrangler Pontiac to a 4th place finish, with Tony Aric Sr. serving as the team's crew chief. Later in the '84 season, Dale would make 2 more starts, one at Darlington and one more at Charlotte in the fall, finishing 19th and 38th. For the 1985 Xfinity Series season, Earnhardt made 6 starts. His best start was first at Darlington in the spring, and his best finish was first at Rockingham in the spring, driving a number 8 Wrangler Pontiac. Jody Ridley also made 1 start at Charlotte in the spring, finishing 29th. In 1986, the team picked up a new sponsor, the same new sponsor Earnhardt had in the Cup Series, making the number 8 GM Goodwrench Pontiac qualify for 11 starts. His best start was first at Charlotte in the fall, and his best finish was first 5 times at Daytona and Rockingham in the spring, and Darlington, Richmond, and Charlotte in the fall. Overall, in 11 starts, he scored 1 pole, 5 wins, 9 top 5s, and 9 top 10s. The 1987 Xfinity Series season saw the number 8 GM Goodwrench Chevrolet make 10 starts throughout the season. His best start was first at Bristol in the spring. His best finish was first at Darlington in the spring. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 1 win, 4 top 5s, and 4 top 10s. Next up, in 1988, Earnhardt made more Xfinity Series starts in one season than he had since the formation of this team, 14. His best start was first at Rockingham in the spring, and his best finish was first at Bristol in the spring. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 1 win, 5 top 5s, and 7 top 10s. Also, Kenny Wallace made his NASCAR debut at Martinsville in the fall, driving the number 8 Chevy, finishing 11th. Then in 1989, Earnhardt made 13 more Xfinity Series starts, but this season they changed from the number 8 to the number 3. His best finish was second at Rockingham in the spring. Overall, in 13 starts, he scored 0 poles, 0 wins, 6 top 5s, and 8 top 10s. Michael Waltrip also made 1 start for the team at Rockingham in the fall, finishing 7th. 1990, a brand new decade, and more of the same for DEI and Dale Earnhardt. He was behind the wheel of the number 3 GM Goodwrench Chevrolet for 14 Xfinity Series starts. His best finish was first twice at Daytona and Rockingham in the spring. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 2 wins, 8 top 5s, and 10 top 10s. Once again, Earnhardt made select Xfinity Series starts in the 1991 season, driving his familiar number 3 GM Goodwrench Chevrolet. 13 starts to be exact. His best start was first at Rockingham in the spring, and his best finish was first 3 times at Daytona and Charlotte in the spring and Darlington in the fall. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 3 wins, 7 top 5s, and 9 top 10s. In 1992, Earnhardt made 12 Xfinity Series starts in his number 3 Chevrolet. His best start was first at Talladega in the summer, and his best finish was first at Daytona in the spring. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 1 win, 6 top 5s, and 6 top 10s. David Bonnet made 1 start at Volusia County, finishing 9th. The 1993 Xfinity Series season only saw Earnhardt make 9 starts. His best finish was first, twice, at Daytona and Talladega in the spring. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 2 wins, 4 top 5s, and 4 top 10s. Neil Bonnet made 1 start at Atlanta in the fall, finishing 35th. For the 1994 Xfinity Series season, Earnhardt made 12 starts. His best finish was first at Daytona in the spring. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 1 win, 3 top 5s, and 5 top 10s. Michael Waltrip made 2 starts. His best finish was second at Rockingham in the fall. Also, Andy Petrie, Dale's Cup Series crew chief at the time, got the opportunity to make a start at Martinsville in the fall, finishing 16th. After running since its formation as a part-time team, DEI finally ran the entire Xfinity Series season in 1995 with Jeff Green driving the number 3 GM Goodwrench Chevrolet. His best start was first at Myrtle Beach in the summer, and his best finish was second twice at Charlotte in the spring and Bristol in the fall. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 0 wins, 6 top 5s, and 12 top 10s, finishing 5th in final Xfinity Series points. DEI entered a number 16 Papa John's Chevy in the newly formed Craftsman Truck Series. Well, at the time it was called the Super Truck Series, for Ron Hornaday Jr. to drive full-time, starting in 1995. His best start was first, 5 times, at Phoenix, I-70 Speedway, Colorado National Speedway, Heartland Park, Topeka, and Sonoma. His best finish was first 6 times, at Tucson, Mesa Martin, Evergreen, Heartland Park, Topeka, Flemington, and Sonoma. Overall, he scored 5 poles, 6 wins, 10 top 5s, and 15 top 10s, finishing 3rd in Truck Series points. Green returned to the team in 1996 to run the full Xfinity Series schedule one more time. His best start was first at Darlington in the spring. His best finish was second at Bristol in the spring. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 0 wins, 5 top 5s, and 13 top 10s, finishing 4th in final Xfinity Series points. Dale Earnhardt Jr. made his Xfinity Series debut at Myrtle Beach, driving a number 31 Chevy, finishing 14th. Steve Park also made 1 start in the number 31 Chevy at Charlotte in the fall, finishing 29th. In the Truck Series, Craftsman Truck Series, that is, Ron Hornaday returned to the number 16 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet full-time, picking up Napa Auto Parts as a full-time sponsor in 96. His best start was first, twice, at Heartland Park, Topeka in the spring and Mesa Martin in the fall. His best finish was first, 4 times, at Portland, Louisville, Watkins Glen, and Loudon. Overall, he scored 2 poles, 4 wins, 18 top 5s, and 23 top 10s, finishing 1st in final Craftsman Truck Series points. Steve Park made 1 start in the Truck Series in a number 76 Action Racing Collectibles Chevrolet at Las Vegas, finishing 15th. At the conclusion of the season, Green and DEI parted ways. The team also made their Cup Series debut, with Jeff Green driving a number 14 Racing for Kids Chevrolet at Pocono. He also ran the second Pocono race that season as well. His best finish was 36th. Robbie Gordon also ran the car at the fall Charlotte race, where he finished 38th. After 2 straight seasons of Jeff Green driving the number 3, in 1997 he was out and Steve Park was in. Along with the new driver came a new sponsor in AC Delco. Park's best start was first at California in the fall, and his best finish was first 3 times in Nashville in the spring, then Michigan and Richmond in the fall. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 3 wins, 12 top 5s, and 20 top 10s, finishing 3rd in final Xfinity Series points. In the number 31 Chevrolet, Dale Earnhardt Jr. made 6 starts in the Xfinity Series. His best finish was 7th in Michigan in the fall. In the Craftsman Truck Series, Ron Hornaday Jr. returned to his number 16 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. His best start was first 3 times, at Bristol in the spring, Colorado in the summer, and Richmond in the fall. His best finish was first 7 times, at Tucson and Bristol in the spring, Milwaukee, Louisville, Colorado, and IRP in the summer, and Flemington in the fall. Overall, he scored 3 poles, 7 wins, 13 top 5s, and 17 top 10s, finishing 5th in final Craftsman Truck Series points. In the Cup Series, Steve Park made 4 starts in the number 14 Burger King Chevrolet. His best finish was 15th at Atlanta in the fall. That following season, in 1998, DEI made the jump to the NASCAR Cup Series full-time, with Steve Park driving a number 1 Pennzoil Chevrolet full-time. Well, it was intended to be full-time, but while practicing for the race in Atlanta, he seriously injured himself in a horrible accident, breaking his femur, collarbone, and his shoulder blade. This meant Park would need a fill-in driver while he healed. Hornaday attempted to qualify the next week at Darlington, but failed. Then Darrell Waltrip came on board the team and would end up having a career renaissance of sorts. In 13 starts, his best finish was 5th at California in the spring. Overall, he scored 2 top 10s and 9 top 20s in 13 starts. At the Brickyard 400 in Indianapolis, Park returned. His best finish was 11th twice, at Michigan and Dover in the fall, finishing 42nd in Cup Series points. In the Xfinity Series, Dale Earnhardt Jr. took over the number 3 AC Delco Chevrolet full-time. His best start was first 3 times at Bristol and Nazareth in the spring, and South Boston in the summer. His best finish was first 7 times, at Texas and Dover in the spring, Milwaukee, California, and IRP in the summer, then Richmond and Gateway in the fall. Overall, he scored 3 poles, 7 wins, 16 top 5s, and 22 top 10s, finishing first in Xfinity Series points. Back in the Craftsman Truck Series, Ron Hornaday Jr. returned to his number 16 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet full-time. His best start was first twice, at Bristol in the spring and Mesa Martin in the fall. His best finish was first 6 times, at Walt Disney World Speedway, Phoenix, Bristol, and Nazareth, and Pikes Peak in the spring, then Memphis in the fall. Overall, he scored 2 poles, 6 wins, 15 top 5s, and 22 top 10s, finishing first in final Craftsman Truck Series points. Following a difficult start to his entrance into the Cup Series, including a horrific accident at Atlanta the season prior, in 1999, Steve Park ran the full schedule in that DEI No. 1 Pennzoil Chevrolet. His best finish was 6th at Michigan in the spring. Overall, he scored 5 top 10s and finished 14th in final Cup Series points. Dale Earnhardt Jr. made 5 Cup Series starts behind the wheel of a number 8 Budweiser Chevrolet. His best finish was 10th at Richmond in the fall. In the Xfinity Series, Dale Earnhardt Jr. returned to his number 3 AC Delco Chevrolet full-time. His best start was first 5 times at Rockingham, Nashville, and California in the spring, then South Boston and Myrtle Beach in the summer. His best finish was first 6 times at Dover, South Boston, and Watkins Glen in the summer, then Gateway, Michigan, and Richmond in the fall. Overall, he scored 5 poles, 6 wins, 18 top 5s, and 22 top 10s, finishing first in final Xfinity Series points. Ron Hornaday Jr. made 3 starts in the Xfinity Series in a number 31 Chevy. His best finish was 6th at Phoenix in the fall. In the Craftsman Truck Series, Ron Hornaday Jr. returned for the final season to drive his number 16 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet full-time. His best finish was first twice at Phoenix and Evergreen in the spring. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 2 wins, 7 top 5s, and 16 top 10s, finishing 7th in final Craftsman Truck Series point standings. The year 2000, a brand new century, and a whole new level of success was found by DEI in their Cup Series program. Steve Park returned to his number 1 Pennzoil Chevrolet full-time, with Paul Andrews as his crew chief. His best start was first twice at Bristol in the spring and Homestead in the fall. His best finish was first at Watkins Glen in the summer. Overall, he scored 2 poles, 1 win, 6 top 5s, and 13 top 10s, finishing 11th in final Cup Series points. Dale Earnhardt Jr. ran the number 8 Budweiser Chevrolet full-time and for Rookie of the Year honors. His best start was first twice at Charlotte in the spring and Michigan in the fall. His best finish was first twice at Texas and Richmond in the spring. Overall, he scored 2 poles, 2 wins, 3 top 5s, and 5 top 10s, finishing 16th in final NASCAR Cup Series points, and finishing runner-up to Matt Kenseth in the Rookie of the Year standings. In the Xfinity Series, Ron Hornaday Jr. took over the number 3 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet full-time. His best finish was first twice at Nazareth and IRP in the summer. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 2 wins, 6 top 5s, and 13 top 10s, finishing 5th in final Xfinity Series points. Some would say this year, 2001, was the beginning of the end for DEI. Sadly, team owner Dale Earnhardt was running third going into turn 3 on the last lap of the 2001 Daytona 500, watching his 2 DEI cars about to finish 1-2 in the Daytona 500. Michael Waltrip in the brand new number 15 Napa Auto Parts Chevy, followed by Dale Earnhardt Jr. in his number 8 Budweiser Chevy in second. After over 460 Cup Series starts without a victory, finally, Waltrip scored his first career Cup Series victory that day. Unfortunately, Dale Sr. would not show up to victory lane to congratulate his new driver on his long-awaited victory. While defending third place, Earnhardt and Sterling Marlin made contact, sending Earnhardt head-on at a 45-degree angle into the outside retaining wall. Ken Schrader was to his outside, and they collided almost simultaneously to get with each other and the wall, and this was before safer barriers. Sadly, Earnhardt died on impact, February 18th, 2001. Steve Park returned to his number 1 Pennzoil Chevrolet full-time, but after a freak accident at Darlington, where his steering wheel popped off during a caution while driving the number 31 Whelen Chevrolet in the Xfinity Series, caused the car to swerve left, coming into contact with the number 14 of Larry Foyt, who was catching up to the front of the field as a lap-down car. He was injured severely and again needed a fill-in driver. In his 24 starts, Park's best finish was first at Rockingham in the spring. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 1 win, 5 top 5s, and 12 top 10s. Kenny Wallace was brought in as his fill-in driver. His best start was first and his best finish was second, both coming at Rockingham in the fall. Overall, in 12 starts, he scored 1 pole, 0 wins, 1 top 5, and 2 top 10s. Dale Earnhardt Jr. returned to his number 8 Budweiser Chevrolet full-time. His best start was first twice, at Texas in the spring and Atlanta in the fall. His best finish was first 3 times, at Daytona in the summer, then Dover and Talladega in the fall. Overall, he scored 2 poles, 3 wins, 9 top 5s, and 15 top 10s, finishing 8th in final Cup Series points. Michael Waltrip was the team's new driver of their newly formed third team, the number 15 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. Scott Ellickson and Steve Meal spent time as the team's crew chief before they settled on Slugger Labbe as their crew chief. Waltrip's best start was 4th at Las Vegas in the spring, and his best finish was first at the 2001 Daytona 500. Also, this was his first career Cup Series victory. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 1 win, 3 top 5s, and 3 top 10s, finishing 24th in final Cup Series points. In 2002, Kenny Wallace ran the first 4 races of the Cup Series season in place of Steve Park and that number 1 Pennzoil Chevrolet. His best finish was 10th at Rockingham in the spring. Then, ironically, the same track at which Steve Park was badly injured the season prior is where he would make his return, Darlington. His best finish would be 6th at Talladega in the fall. Overall, he scored 2 top 10s in 32 starts. Dale Earnhardt Jr. returned to his number 8 Budweiser Chevrolet full-time. His best start was first twice at Michigan and Kansas in the fall. His best finish was first twice, both races at Talladega. Overall, he scored 2 poles, 2 wins, 11 top 5s, and 16 top 10s, finishing 11th in final Cup Series points. Michael Waltrip returned to his number 15 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet full-time. His best start was second twice at Michigan and Watkins Glen in the summer. His best finish was first at Daytona in the summer. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 1 win, 4 top 5s, and 10 top 10s, finishing 14th in final Cup Series points. In the Xfinity Series, Dale Earnhardt Jr. made a one-off start in a number 8 Chevrolet, finishing first at Richmond in the fall. Then in 2003, Steve Park began the season driving the number 1 Pennzoil Chevrolet for 11 races before essentially being traded to RCR for Jeff Green. Park's best start was first at California in the spring. His best finish was 10th at Las Vegas in the spring. Then Jeff Green made 12 starts. His best finish was 16th at Chicagoland in the summer. Ron Fellows made 2 starts at the 2 road course races. His best finish was 7th at Sonoma in the summer. After the 12 races Green spent behind the wheel, the team had John Andretti make 10 starts. His best finish was 12th at Loudon in the fall. Jason Keller even made 1 start for the team at Talladega in the fall, finishing 26th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. returned to his number 8 Budweiser Chevrolet full-time. His best start was second 3 times, at Daytona and Martinsville in the spring, then in Dover in the fall. His best finish was first, twice, at Talladega in the spring, then Phoenix in the fall. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 2 wins, 13 top 5s, and 21 top 10s, finishing 3rd in final Cup Series points. Michael Waltrip returned to his number 15 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet full-time. His best start was 3rd at Bristol in the fall. His best finish was first, twice, the 03 Daytona 500 and Talladega in the fall. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 2 wins, 8 top 5s, and 11 top 10s, finishing 15th in final Cup Series points. John Andretti made a one-off start in a number 81 Kraft Foods Chevrolet at Indy in the Brickyard 400. He wrecked after 46 laps, finishing 43rd. That was the number 81 team's first and only start under the DEI banner. That following season, in 2004, DEI made the number 1 Chevrolet only a part-time team for the next couple seasons. John Andretti made 5 starts. His best finish was 13th at Daytona in the spring. Ron Fellows made a one-off start in the car at Watkins Glen finishing second. Martin Truex Jr. made 2 starts, with a best finish of 32nd, coming at Homestead in the fall. Kenny Wallace made a one-off start at Talladega in the fall, finishing 32nd. Dale Earnhardt Jr. returned to his number 8 Budweiser Chevrolet full-time. His best start was second at Darlington in the spring. His best finish was first 6 times. The 2004 Daytona 500, Atlanta, and Richmond in the spring, Bristol, Talladega, and Phoenix in the fall. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 6 wins, 16 top 5s, and 22 top 10s, finishing 5th in final Cup Series points. Michael Waltrip returned to the number 15 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet full-time. His best start was second, twice, at Talladega in the spring and Daytona in the summer. His best finish was second at Charlotte in the spring. In the Xfinity Series, Dale Earnhardt Jr. made 1 start in the number 8 Chevrolet at Daytona in the spring, finishing first. In the Xfinity Series, starting at race 20 at Loudon, Paul Menard started driving the number 11, attempting all the remaining races of the season. He DNQ'd twice, making 13 starts to end the 04 Xfinity Series season. His best start was first at Kansas in the fall. His best finish was 11th at Memphis in the fall. For the 2005 NASCAR Cup Series season, Martin Truex Jr. made 7 starts in the number 1 Bass Pro Shops Chevrolet. His best finish was 7th at Charlotte in the spring. Paul Menard made 1 start, also in the number 1, at Watkins Glen, finishing 27th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. returned to his number 8 Budweiser Chevrolet full-time. His best start was 3rd at Loudon in the fall, and his best finish was 1st at Chicagoland in the summer. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 1 win, 7 top 5s, and 13 top 10s, finishing 19th in final Cup Series points. One of the main reasons for the sudden drop-off in performance from the 04 to 05 seasons is the fact that DEI essentially took the crew chief from the 15 team in 2004 and the crew chief from the 8 team in 2004 and swapped them. In most fans' opinion, well, it was not a good move. Michael Waltrip returned to the number 15 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet full-time. His best start was first at Pocono in the spring, and his best finish was second at Phoenix in the spring. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 0 wins, 3 top 5s, and 7 top 10s, finishing 25th in final Cup Series points. In the Xfinity Series, Paul Menard returned to his number 11 Menard's Chevrolet full-time. His best start was first at Talladega in the spring. His best finish was second at Richmond in the fall. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 0 wins, 6 top 5s, and 15 top 10s, finishing 6th in final Xfinity Series points. At the conclusion of the season, Waltrip and DEI parted ways. The next season, in 2006, Martin Truex Jr. made the jump to the NASCAR Cup Series full-time, driving the number 1 Bass Pro Shops Chevrolet with Kevin Bono Mannion as his crew chief. His best start was 5th at California in the fall. His best finish was 2nd at Homestead in the fall. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 0 wins, 2 top 5s, and 5 top 10s, finishing 19th in final Cup Series points. Dale Earnhardt Jr. returned to his number 8 Budweiser Chevrolet full-time. His best start was 4th at Phoenix in the fall, and his best finish was 1st at Richmond in the spring. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 1 win, 10 top 5s, and 17 top 10s, finishing 5th in final Cup Series points. Paul Menard made his NASCAR Cup Series debut in Atlanta in the spring, finishing 7th. Altogether, he made 7 starts in that number 15, with the best finish being the aforementioned 7th. In the Xfinity Series, Paul Menard returned to his number 11 Menard Chevrolet full-time. His best finish was 1st at Milwaukee in the summer. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 1 win, 7 top 5s, and 16 top 10s, finishing 6th in final Xfinity Series points. Dale Earnhardt Jr. made 5 starts in a number 8 Chevrolet. His best finish was 1st twice at Daytona in the summer and Michigan in the fall. Overall, in 5 starts, he scored 0 poles, 2 wins, 2 top 5s, and 3 top 10s. Martin Truex Jr. made 3 starts, also in a number 8 Chevrolet. His best finish was 1st at Talladega in the spring. In 3 starts, he scored 1 win, 2 top 5s, and 2 top 10s. Tony Stewart made a one-off start in a number 8 Chevrolet at Charlotte in the fall, finishing 16th. That following season, in 2007, DEI began the season as a 3-car team, but after the whole Ginn Racing fiasco, they ended up at a 4-car team by season's end. So, we are just going to cover from Indianapolis on, as far as the number 01 team. Mark Martin made 10 starts in that number 01 U.S. Army Chevrolet. His best finish was 4th at Dover in the fall. In 10 starts, he scored 1 top 5 and 4 top 10s. Regan Smith made 2 starts. His best finish was 36th at Loudon in the fall. Aric Almirola made 5 starts. His best finish was 26th at Phoenix in the fall. Martin Truex Jr. returned to the number 1 Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet full-time. His best start was 1st at Texas in the fall. His best finish was 1st at Dover in the spring. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 1 win, 7 top 5s, and 14 top 10s, finishing 11th in final Cup Series points. Dale Earnhardt Jr. returned to his number 8 Budweiser Chevrolet full-time. His best start was 1st, and his best finish was 2nd, both coming at Pocono in the summer. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 0 wins, 7 top 5s, and 12 top 10s, finishing 16th in final Cup Series points. Paul Menard made the jump to the NASCAR Cup Series full-time, driving the number 15 Menard Chevrolet. He DNQ'd 6 times. In 30 starts, his best finish was 12th at Michigan in the summer. He finished 34th in final Cup Series points. In the Xfinity Series, Dale Earnhardt Jr. made 4 starts in a number 8 Chevrolet. His best finish was 3rd at Charlotte in the fall. In 4 starts, he scored 1 top 5 and 3 top 10s. Martin Truex Jr. made a one-off start at Dover in the fall, finishing 2nd. In the number 11, Martin Truex Jr. made 2 starts. His best finish was 6th at Daytona in the spring. Paul Menard made 11 starts in a number 15 Chevrolet. His best finish was 4th at Watkins Glen in the fall. At the conclusion of the season, Dale Earnhardt Jr. parted ways with DEI after a very serious business disagreement with Teresa Earnhardt. So, he left for Hendrick Motorsports to finish his Cup Series career driving the number 88 Chevrolet. No one knew it at the time, but 2008 would end up being the final season DEI would operate as a standalone team. Regan Smith was signed on to drive the number 01 Principal Financial Group Chevrolet for all but the 2 road course races, where Ron Fellows would drive the car. Smith's best finish was 14th twice, at Martinsville in the spring and Bristol in the fall. Though he failed to score a single top 10, he did finish every single race he entered, and was named Rookie of the Year in 2008. He finished 32nd in points. Ron Fellows made the 2 road course starts. His best finish was 13th at Watkins Glen in the fall. Martin Truex Jr. returned to the number 1 Bass Pro Shops Chevrolet full-time. His best start was 2nd at Texas in the fall, and his best finish was 4th at Loudon in the summer. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 0 wins, 3 top 5s, and 11 top 10s, finishing 15th in final Cup Series points. In the number 8 U.S. Army Chevrolet, the team had 2 drivers split the driving duties throughout the season. Mark Martin made 24 starts. His best finish was 3rd at Richmond in the spring. Overall, in 24 starts, he scored 0 poles, 0 wins, 4 top 5s, and 11 top 10s. Aric Almirola made the remaining 12 starts. His best finish was 8th at Bristol in the spring. Overall, the number 8 team finished 14th in final Cup Series owner points. Paul Menard returned to the number 15 Menard Chevrolet full-time. His best start was 1st at Daytona in the summer, and his best finish was 2nd at Talladega in the fall. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 0 wins, 1 top 5, and 1 top 10, finishing 26th in final Cup Series points. On November 12, 2008, DEI and Chip Ganassi Racing with Felix Sabates merged their operations, renaming the race team Earnhardt Ganassi Racing. They moved all their operations to Chip Ganassi Racing's shop. So, across the top 3 touring series in NASCAR, the team had 26 different drivers spend time behind the wheel of one of their race cars. In 972 NASCAR Cup Series starts, the team scored 14 poles, 24 victories, 128 top 5s, and 250 top 10s. Best points finish was 3rd by Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 2003. In 427 NASCAR Xfinity Series starts, the team scored 18 poles, 41 victories, 141 top 5 finishes, and 220 top 10 finishes, with a best points finish of 1st twice, in 1998 and 99, both by Dale Earnhardt Jr. In 126 Craftsman Truck Series starts, the team scored 11 poles, 25 victories, 64 top 5s, and 93 top 10s, with a best points finish of 1st twice, both by Ron Hornaday Jr. in 1996 and 98. Thanks for watching, everyone, and take care.